Hello and welcome to BusyWorksBeats.com. We are still here. You thought I was gonna say we're back, but we are still here in Bosstown in the iZotope headquarters. I got Jeff Manchester to my right behind the distiller camera, whatever they call that. We got Sam behind the cam and we got Peter behind the meter. He's like, yo, if you don't, these intros are getting whacker and whacker as we go. Anyway, I wanna welcome you to another video where I'm going to show you how I'm going to mix these tracks in We Love. Show you a couple techniques for your 808 to make it hit in the car a little bit harder, and another trick for your mix so that you can have your 808 and kick hit at the same time without losing information. All right, so very simple. All we got to do, here's the track We Love, by the way.
We love, we love.
Let's go to our 808 track and let's load up the Ozone 9 Exciter first. The reason I'm using it first is because I want to show you something. So you can click within the frequencies to create a section. So the section we're going to focus on is 80 hertz and below. Okay, so you can try 100 hertz and below. It doesn't really matter, but I like to focus on 80 hertz and below. That's usually where my 808 lives. Okay, so all I'm going to do, you ready for this advanced dark mastery of mastering that I learned from the gods of mastering? You turn up the knob, this is a mount, and you leave it on triode mode. So here's what it sounds like.
We love.
Actually, let me solo the 808 once we get there. Let's go to the 808. Where's the 808? Where art thou?
Yeah, 30 London,
And then pull up your triode until you hear it and then pull it back, okay? Now this 808's already like saturated to a degree, but.
Yeah, 30 London, it's dirty like Diana.
Now it has like a bubbly, it has a bubbly feel to it. So when you're in the car, you can actually feel the car. It's kind of like when your phone vibrates, whatever frequency that is, or intensity, whatever it is that makes you feel it. Your 808s, a lot of the problem that you have with your bass is that you can't feel it. That's what you have to get in front of speakers to do and understand what people can feel. If you don't have speakers, just rely on triode mode, just turn it up.
Yeah, 30 London.
It's gonna make your 808 come to life. Like it can be boomy all day long, but it might not vibrate to give you that massage that you need in the car, okay? So that's the secret I use to kind of create the massage effect in the car. Girls love it. Let's go to Ozone 9 and open up the imager, okay? And let's click in 80 hertz and below.
Yeah.
Now here, you probably would think I'm just gonna collapse it to mono, okay? But what I'm actually gonna do is go to the new mode, mode 2, that Jeff tells me all these great things about. And basically it preserves the transients of when you spread stuff out wide, the problem is that you lose impact and it sounds comby, like it's going through a comb filter. Am I saying that properly? Right. And it sounds wishy and washy when you start spreading things wider. So what I'm going to do is stereorize. Now it depends on if your 808 already has stereo information. I don't want to bore you to death. So all we're gonna do is hit play.
Yeah.
And if the line is straight up and down, that blue line, that means your 808 is mono. If it's like a little bit wider, that means it has stereo information. So you don't have to stereorize if your 808 already has like a width to it.
Yeah, 30 London.
So mine's straight up and down. That means I need to stereorize it or create two different voices, because right now it's in mono, which means one. Mono means one, right? Stereo means full body, which means you gotta have, different pieces on the body. So let's stereorize and then pull up the bandwidth for the lows.
Yeah, 30 London,
And it's subtle. I'll play it all the way through, but it's subtle, but it makes the 808 louder, perceived louder, because now you hear portions of it in your left and right ear. And the way your ear is set up is when you pan things, they can become louder, and even at the same volume. So there's so much to mastering and mixing, but
yeah, 30 London.
now if you want it slop, I'm gonna turn it up a little bit, but if you want it sloppier, you can turn your stereorize time up a little bit more.
Yeah, 30 London. It's dirty like Diana. Cruise, 30 like Diana. In the country like it's grandma. Yeah, 30 London. It's dirty.
Also, you can pull the band up. So I'm gonna pull the band up to exaggerate it. So this is why I use Imager, because you can define how you want the sound to fit within a mix. It gets really complicated at this point. Let's say you want the low mids to be wide, but you want the bass to be mono, and you want the highs to be super wide. That's when we get into sound design. That's when mixing turns into a creative thing.
Yeah.
So all I'm gonna do here is just pull up the frequency band.
30 in it. Bet
So you can hear more of the 808 spread out that way. So I'll start low, go high.
yeah, 30 in it. Bet you, that shit dirty like Diana. Cruising, 30 like the Nana. In the country like it's grandma. Yeah, 30 in it. Bet you, that shit dirty like Diana. Cruising, 30 like the Nana. In the country like it's grandma. Yeah, 30 in it. Bet you, that shit dirty like Diana. Cruising.
So now we're affecting the whole range of the 808 from the lows all the way up to the highs. And it becomes a different thing at that point. So instead of just becoming an ambiguous thing that makes the 808 more clear, now you can actually hear the sound go from left to right. You can actually hear the movement. So it depends on like how far you want to take it. There's no right or wrong. But the main thing, the trick is to widen your lows. So mess with that time knob, mess with the stereorize knob, start widening things. And that is all I wanted to show you. Little tricks to make the mix a lot cooler. So again, we got Jeff Manchester to my right. We're all trying to stay hype as we can. Keep the enthusiasm high. We got Sam behind the cam and we got Peter behind the meter. So I want to thank you guys. Please like the video if you want to see more videos like this. If you want to see me and Jeff collab, you want to see Sam hop in a vid. If you want to see Peter hop in and play, what do you play, like bass?
Guitar.
Guitar, bass guitar. All right, guys, we will wrap this up. It's BusyWorksBeats.com.